Hello there, Leeds fans. Hope you're doing fantastically well. It's Connor here, and we are back with another One Leeds video. A bit to discuss today. Before we do start the video, we do have a spotlight series that is on our Patreon account, everybody. And yeah, it seems to be going down pretty well. This time we have done it on Michael Skubala. Yes, last weekend we did it on, I believe it was Weston McKennie. It was Weston McKennie. So make sure you go check that out. If you're interested, the Patreon link will be in the description below. And before we get on to things, this is a guaranteed pot for the weekend. Betmate sponsor the channel, everybody, and we've got a perfect offer for you this weekend. 300 quid guaranteed pot. Entry from 3 to 5 quid. Link will be in the description below. And this is my team for the weekend. I've gone with Luke Ayling to celebrate his contract in the side, Willie Gnonto as well. And guys, you can get a free bet with the code ONELEADS10, which you can see in the description below. Definitely well worth it. As you can see, the leaderboard at the top is always fantastic to see people getting involved. And yeah, guys, get involved. A little bit of fantasy football. It's always a laugh. The code will be in the description below. The link will be in the description below. And go over and get involved. Okay. Everton versus Leeds. As I say, on the Spotlight series, we speak a little bit, well, we speak a lot on the tactical side of things, so I'm not going to go into that too much, but I'm going to talk about the importance of the game today. So it's a massive one for me, for Leeds United, this. I think it's a must win. I'm getting closer and closer to the game and thinking to myself, maybe it's a must not lose. And the reason I'm saying that is because if Leeds are to beat Southampton, then I would take a draw against Everton. But that is on the premise that we beat Southampton. So I just see this as a massive game. I think it was interesting seeing Everton's makeup last weekend. We know that Decore in the midfield has fallen out of favour with Frank Lampard previously. He's been brought back in by Sean Dyche. There's a bit of a makeup of a midfield of him, Onana, and I believe it's Iwobi. That is a very, very physical midfield. And as I say, on the Spotlight series, we speak about what Skubala's going to do to combat that. But in my opinion, it's going to be a very, 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 very gritty game, a hard game. And I think Southampton will be the exact same. But I think Goodison, with the atmosphere, with the blue flares, the blue smoke, which you're expecting to be there at the weekend. We saw that from Everton last time out. I think it's going to be a tough game, a really, really tough game. And it's probably not the team, even position-wise, you want to be facing right now. Obviously, buoyant, I should say, after the win against Arsenal, the best team in the division at that time, and keeping a clean sheet against Arsenal as well, which is something we have to take into consideration. A great feat for Everton there. And obviously, off the back of Sean Dyche's appointment, you definitely saw Everton being more direct. I'm not 100% sure they're going to keep the ball at the back that often, and I think they're going to try to hit Leeds on set pieces. I think it's basic. But I think maybe a long-term projection for Sean Dyche will be to maybe implement some more of his plans, but he's whipping the boys into shape. He's changed their training ground from a narrow training ground into a more expansive one, probably so he can start, playing those switch balls and getting the bigger man involved in the flick-ons and all this sort of stuff. The positive for Leeds United is that Dominic Calvert-Lewin isn't going to be involved this weekend. He was heavily influential in the Arsenal game, him and Iwobi linking up consistently, and I think that was Sean Dyche's plan. So if Maupay is going to be involved, who is the arch nemesis of Leeds United, we all know that, it seems to score against Leeds more than any other team, their style of play might be a little bit different. Maybe they'll push Onana up a little bit more for those flick-ons, but the midfield battle's going to be huge in this game. And Skubala has said that Rocker might be available for this game, Cooper might be available for this game, but I think we're going to go with the midfield pairing of McKennie and Adams. And I think in terms of as I keep mentioning, a physicality battle, this is going to be one of the toughest in the Premier League. And I thoroughly believe that. I mean, I was watching Arsenal against them last week, and I think just the stature of Onana, the stature of Decore in there, really putting themselves about, especially at Goodison, is going to be a real welcome to the Premier League for Weston McKennie. And I think it's going to be a real arduous task for Tyler Adams. But they've played together now for 2 games. I think that synergy, that cohesion between them both hopefully has developed a little bit. And, McKennie, I still think is a little bit lacklustre when it comes to passing from that double pivot. I think Tyler Adams, his natural game isn't passing. I think it's a breaker up of play. It's a disruptor. And I think McKennie is more of a box-to-box. So you do miss that Mark Rocker-esque passer who in this system is going to flourish, in my opinion, if he's able to be a bit more expansive with his ball distribution. That's probably something we're going to miss in this game. I think I'd love to see a midfield 3 up against their midfield 3. But when you're just looking at a generalised, synopsis of this game, I think it's going to be won and lost in the midfield, as you can probably tell. So they're going to be up for it. We need to be up for it. I like what Scoobs was saying today in terms of the calmness, the assurance. We're going into this game. We're looking forward to it. I think those, stress-free ways of putting the message out to the players is going to be a massive beneficiary to us. I think going into this game with any elements of stress, as we've seen with Leeds United before, the players do fold. So I think going into this game and just thinking to yourself, you know what, we're going to go out, we're going to play our game, we're going to, and I've spoken about this, guys, as I keep mentioning the Spotlight series of how I expect Skubala to set up against Everton, but I think we'll go about it in a similar way to what we did against Manchester United. I think it would be naive to just go all guns blazing and all gun attack. But what I will say is I think if we go 1-0 down in this game, I think Leeds are going to struggle. I think the big thing in this game is going to be who scores first. And I think if Everton score in the first 10 minutes, they're going to win the game. I think if Leeds score in the first 10 minutes, I think we'll win the game. I really do. I think it's going to be that fine-tooth nail. I think if Leeds score in the first 10 minutes, it's going to quiet the Goodison crowd. I think if they score in the first 10 minutes, as maybe we saw when Bielsa was in charge at Goodison, they're just going to, really, really push on that gas and maybe start being, incorporating a bit of gamesmanship and really getting the Goodison crowd on the referee. And we know how these things go. So as Leeds United fans, but the importance of this game is absolutely seismic. As I've mentioned on tweets, as I've mentioned on Facebook, this game is huge for Leeds. If we lose this game, I'm really fearful for Leeds United. And listen, some calls might be made by me after this weekend because I would be exceptionally worried about this Leeds United side. I mean, I'm worried about the ownership as it is, just how flimsy and negligent they are. But when it comes to the players on field, I think it is between us and Everton. I've said that from the start, and I think it's almost like a playoff game. That's how it feels. So if Leeds are to lose this game, I would be worried. But if Leeds are to win this game, it is a massive statement. And if we're to win it well, even, it's a massive, massive feather in Skubala's cap. No credit whatsoever will go to the board because they've stumbled on this. There's been no preparation. They've been negligent. They've been naive. They've been ill-prepared, so no credit goes to them whatsoever, but credit will go to Skubala and the boys 100%, and it'll be a massive feat to be able to do that. So I'm going to be behind Skubala 100%. Do I think Skubala is the man going to go forward with Leeds United? I don't, and that's primarily just down to his experience, but as you guys have seen with my 3 reasons to be optimistic about Skubala, I am very, very supportive of him, and I think we're all going to be behind him. But best believe if this doesn't work and the board have got this wrong, as they've got many other things wrong, Southampton could turn toxic, and I really hope it doesn't have to come to that. I hope Leeds come out of this next 2-game period with a positive result, with a positive mindset, and then potentially with a new manager in as well. Wouldn't that be excellent if Skubala gets a win this weekend? We bring a manager in, a full-time manager, which if you are to believe reports is happening in the background, then, and then we beat Southampton, it's a different complexion, isn't it? And this squad is capable of that, so it's a different complexion when it gets to that point. I just want to say a massive, massive well done to Luke Ayling. I've said to you guys before, I never double down on this channel. I always come out and admit when I'm wrong. When I'm right, I won't try flaunt it in your guys' faces, but maybe I should do that a little bit more often because I have to point out all the time when I'm wrong. But there needs to be a bit of an equilibrium there, doesn't there? But I will say, Luke Ayling, I didn't want him on another long-term contract. That's not what I want, especially with his age. I think we should be developing. I think Cody Drame, whenever he comes back, should be looking at getting that first-team spot. And hopefully he's going to be developing at Luton, and we're going to get that. It's going to be interesting to see what division we're in because he might be fast-tracked to the Premier League, very, very to the first team if we're in the Championship. Who knows? However, when we're just looking at an overall perspective, I think it is right that we've extended Luke Ayling's contract by a year. Skubala spoke on that today. I think if we'd have given Luke Ayling a 3-4 year contract, that would have been where I'd have come on here and said, what are they doing? They're not using the resources well. But I think a year's extension for a leader like Luke Ayling, he fully deserves it, especially after his last couple of performances where he's arguably been the best player in the squad aside from Willie Gnonto. I'm very, very happy for Luke. Very, very happy for him. So, yeah, well done, Luke Ayling. And as I say, guys, just just want to remind you that if you want to get involved in the Betmate stuff that we've got going on this weekend, link will be in the description below. The code will be in the description below, and you get a free bet with one Leeds 10, so it's well worth it. Guys, that's been my thoughts on the game. If you want to check out the additional tactical analysis I've put in on our new Spotlight series on the Patreon account, please hit the link in the description below. That'll take you there. It's only $5 a month. It supports the channel, and you'll be inundated with videos from this ugly mug. Guys, have a good one.